Council meeting for Monday, April 1st. If you will please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We actually have a proclamation. I pulled the wrong proclamation off my desk. But we have a proclamation for the 2024 National Health Week. And if you give me 1 second, I'm going to go get that. And do you want to start public comment?
Yeah, do you want me to? Okay.
Yeah, I'll be right back.
With that, we'll start public comment. This portion of the meeting specifically set aside for comments from the public who are asked to limit their comments to 2 minutes. Any person interested in providing public comment remotely should email publicmeetings@rockhillct.gov prior to 4 p.m. on the day of the meeting, at which time a link will be provided to attend the meeting as well as instructions on how to participate. So if anybody would like to come to the podium and speak, feel free. You can just go right up. Just please state your name and address at the start and go for it.
Hi everyone, my name is Muthukumar Gopalan. I reside in Stepney Place, 1800 Celestine. And this is to register saying that the residents of Stepney Place have been easy targets for the property crimes in the recent years. And very recently we had about 43 cars which was broken in, which was about a week ago. And we had very little as zero to no proactive measures which was being taken to eradicate this. We as a community, we wanted to file in a petition, and we have the signatures from most of the residents here. Would you want me to read it, or how do you want me to go? This is my first time, so please excuse me if I'm not
for a petition
doing it for
the petition. They have a petition they want to submit. So do they read the content of the petition into the record? Or?
That's up to you.
Yep. Okay. So let me read it. Dear Rocky Hill elected officials, we are the residents of Stepney Hill. Last week, this was last week. So the week prior, we had about 43 cars were broken in. The RHPD were on site at the crime and while it was happening, and yet no actions was taken. Over the past few years, our cars have been easy targets for the crimes for multiple times. We have individuals in the community which has been broken more than a dozen times, and the insurance rates for every individual has gone up for the zip code once they go in. With every incident that we have the same advice which has been coming from the police in saying, hey, lock the cars, remove your valuables, and we cannot pursue the property crimes. And official states that the state is to be blamed. And this time, we are hearing that the police officers were inside and they saw these criminals, but they were not authorized to act. Which was we didn't know. They were stating one of the rules. They read out a rule. It did not help us to understand. How crime has been happening, and plus, while the police officer is there, not chasing or acting on it. While we would like to have this taken up as part of the next public safety meeting, which is going to be held on April 15th, and we would like to register this. Anything else? Can I?
You can give it to the secretary.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishes to be heard? Just make sure you state your name and your address. Thank you.
Yeah, hi. Good evening, everyone. My name is Dheeraj Shukla, and I'm also a resident of Rocky Hill, staying in a Stepney Place apartment. So this time also my car is broken, like last week. And we have seen this continuously from last couple of years. The cars are vandalized. So basically we need some help from the town related to securities, so that at least, further we will not face this kind of issues. And because of the car vandalized, the rates of the insurance goes high. So that's what I'm just looking for some kind of safety and security. That's it from my side.
Thank you so
everyone.
much. Anyone else who wishes to be heard?
Alan Smith, 112 Old Main Street. On a little bit of a lighter note, I just wanted to put something on your radar. I believe some packet was handed around. I presented an idea to the Innovation and Inclusion Commission last week for an idea that I had that I think would check off a lot of boxes for us as a town. And it is to paint one of our crosswalks here or on the street with the colors of a pride flag. This would be, I think, a symbol that we have a welcoming and inclusive community here in Rocky Hill. It would also be the first step to having some sort of public art. We don't really have much of that here in Rocky Hill, and would also activate our downtown center, which we've been trying to do. So, so far, everybody that I've talked to has given a lot of positive feedback related to this. I've talked to the church right here. I've talked to some staff members. I've talked to different boards and commissions and stuff, and everybody seems pretty positive about it. So I won't get into the weeds because I have already presented the whole thing to Innovation and Inclusion. It's kind of in their realm right now to see if it's something they could support, but I just wanted to put that on everybody's radar. And hopefully it is something that if it ends up being in front of you in a more formal form, it's something that the town council will support, and we'll have some resources as well from the town to assist. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Anyone else who wishes to be heard from the public? Okay.
Hi, this is Sudeep Naik. So I stay in Stepney Place I'm staying in there almost for past 8 years. And recently I also had a new car, and it is already, the glass is broken. And we have recently seen in the last 4 years or 5 years frequently happening. And there is a camera, but nothing, I don't think it's working, or I'm not sure about that. But something we have to look into it, because the follow-up, right, like getting the insurance, getting the approval, it's a pain. Like till now it is not fixed for me. So I have to go through another 7 days to get it fixed. So something, if you can help on this one, that will be great. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Anyone else who wishes to be heard? Okay, I never do this. Well, I rarely do it, but I'm going to ask for a motion to suspend the rules so that I can respond to public comment.
I'll make a motion for that.
I second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Okay, so I feel like this is a very important topic, so I want to be able to address you this evening, and I appreciate, I didn't get your name because...
Muthu.
Okay, thank you for coming, Motu. We actually, I'm going to have our interim town manager speak a little bit about this, because we actually have a presentation that we're going to put on with our police chief and some of the folks probably at the next meeting, town council meeting, specifically to address this. It just, we couldn't get it done tonight, and we didn't know you were coming tonight. If I had known, I probably would have pushed to see that we could do it tonight. So, but I would encourage you to go to public safety, because those public safety meetings are the places where, they really do address these types of issues. And then, of course, those things come up to us at this level. I just had a question. There was something in your very first or second sentence that talked about officials.
Yep.
What was that? You have to come to the microphone.
Sure. So during the incident, it happened about 5:30 in the morning, and there was one of the residents who called the cops, and the cop was definitely, they showed up there. They saw the individual breaking in, and they did not pursue, or they did not chase up or shoo them away. All that they did is put on the sirens, and they did nothing. And when we asked, in saying we were told by the management and saying, while looking at the cameras, we saw, police putting on the sirens and did nothing going behind them. We asked them, I think it was last week, the officials came to the residence for more of a clarification. And when we asked them, why didn't you not pursue? And they showed us a piece of paper which had some written documents from the officials and saying, hey, we are not authorized to pursue, or we are not authorized to chase anybody for the property crime.
Okay.
I don't know what that
Yeah,
means.
no, I just wanted to clarify, so some type of statute
Yeah.
or the state policy and local policy. Oh, no, okay. I
As
just need a
said,
clarification.
this is the first time,
Thank
so
you.
I
Appreciate it.
just
Yeah. No, I certainly appreciate that, and that makes full sense. So I'm just gonna, Mona has some of the information, a little bit, so I'm gonna turn it over to you.
Right. Well, I did talk to the police chief today, and he did mention what you're already telling us, that there was the resident meeting for the 1800 Silas Dean, and they sent the sergeant out, patrol sergeant out, and hopefully they did explain. I know it's locking the cars and everything that we think we know, and stress that. He also wanted me to make sure that, if I could express tonight, that they are making an extra presence at residential and complexes since the incident. So you may not necessarily see that, but they are increasing that presence for you. And his plans are to come to public safety and give you some more information. At this point, they're still working with other towns, so it's not an isolated Rocky Hill. It's a statewide, and they are working very closely with some other towns. So he should have a more detailed report for you at the next meeting for public safety.
Thank you, Mona. And Councilor Prakash, when is your next meeting?
Yeah, so the next meeting is next Monday. 2 weeks from now, 2 Mondays from now, at 5:30. So we will have, and if I may add, I think, thank you for this petition. I think it's not acceptable to have this kind of situation where so many people are being affected and without any consequences to the criminals, right? So that is not acceptable, and we will tackle it. There are state laws, there are state statutes which are constrained sometimes on our PD, but I think that's why we are here, and we will explore every possible avenue to rectify and mitigate these type of crimes in our town. So, like I said, 2 weeks from now, 5:30 on Monday, we will have the full report from Chief Glett, who is the chief of PD in our town, and we'll go from there. Thank you. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, Councilor Prakash. Does anyone else want to weigh in? Because I know it's an unusual circumstance. Councilor Thoreau or Councilor O'Sullivan?
No, thank you.
No. Okay. All right. On this end? No. Okay. So thank you all for coming in, and we're going to continue now to. Well, is there anyone else who wants to be heard? Okay. So we're going to close public comment, and we're going to move on to our proclamation, the 2024 National Health Week, and we have a board of directors here. Two of you?
One of me,
What?
she's my chauffeur.
Just one of you. Okay, well, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Okay.
What are we giving her? Giving everybody everything.
Everybody in our town.
Okay, so we have the chair of Central Connecticut Health District, whom you all recognize as our long-term town manager, former town manager, Ms. Barbara Gilbert, and she will be accepting the proclamation on behalf of Central Connecticut Health District. So I don't know if you know, but it's National Public Health Week, and so that is proclaimed April 1st through the 7th. And this year's theme is Protecting, Connecting, and Thriving. We are all public health. And public health is more than just health care. It's the steps we take to make sure our neighborhoods and environment are free from pollution. It's making sure our food and water are safe to eat and drink. And it's also the relationships we foster in our community. And for 29 years, the annual celebration of National Public Health Week reminds us of the fundamental role that our own state and local health departments play every day in the health of our communities. And the Health District, in partnership with the 4 towns, recognizes we're all interconnected. And when we all come together to support public health, all of us, individuals, families, communities, and the public health field, can achieve the health goals that the community and the Health District has been dedicated to. And whereas the town of Rocky Hill, together with its neighboring towns of Berlin, Newington, and Wethersfield, receives quality public health services through its regional health department, the Central Connecticut Health District, now in its 28th year of service. I, Lisa J. Murata, do hereby proclaim April 1st to the 7th National Public Health Week in Rocky Hill, Connecticut, and I encourage all of our citizens to join me in the celebration and in acknowledging the critical role of public health in the prevention and in helping individuals and communities to achieve and maintain good health.
Thank you.
Thank you for all that you do for us. I know I mentioned to everybody that you brought in the commissioners from the Department of Public Health, and I don't know if you want to say a few words. So I'm going to give you the microphone.
Well, I'll talk about that. We brought the commissioner from Public Health to a meeting with the mayors and managers of the 4 towns, the mayors mainly. And it was our goal to have her hear our concerns. And our concerns mainly deal with funding. The state is supposed to fund us a certain dollar amount per capita. Right now it's $2.62 a person. We can't function on that. So the towns end up picking it up. And we are going to come to a point where the grants from COVID and everything stop. And to continue the services, the state is going to have to do what they promised when they created the districts. Rocky Hill was very instrumental in the creation of the district. Our offices are now in Rocky Hill. We have a clinical services department, which is also in Rocky Hill. And we are looking to grow and do more for the community. I watched it come to fruition. At the time we started with the health district, Rocky Hill had a part-time sanitarian. That was it. We offered no other services to the town. We offered no other programs or anything like this. And you all should be very proud because every year we have a walking contest. And Rocky Hill won last year. We had 160 some odd participants and they walked over 43 million steps. So, yeah. So you get that wonderful big ugly shoe trophy. And it is ugly. But Rocky Hill, it was a perfect thing to do. Even though when I was manager, I threatened to pull out constantly because I wanted more for the town. It was a wise move for Rocky Hill, and it would be a wise move to stay in it. So thank you very much for recognizing us.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you for all you do for us.
Oh,
Thank you.
we're leaving.
Back to Lisa.
All right, yeah.
With that, give me 1 second. I gotta find my screen here. I'd like to make a motion to amend tonight's agenda to move up item 9, the executive session to discuss pending litigation regarding Town of Rocky Hill et al. Versus Century Hills property owner pursuant to CGS Section 1-2010B4 with town manager, town attorney, director of human resources and legal compliance, and director of finance and operations and assistant building official. To be next on the agenda would be, I guess, item 3A before appointments and resignation. We put to 3B.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're going to go into executive session. We'll be back.
Do we have to make a motion to go, actually?
Should we make a motion? Why don't we make a motion to go into
I'm
executive
going to
session?
make a motion to go into said executive session.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to come out of executive session.
All in favor?
Aye.
Counselor?
Yeah, Madam Mayor, so I move to amend the agenda to add to this immediate portion of the agenda an action item for the council to consider and possibly vote upon a motion to authorize the town manager to enter into a settlement agreement that pertaining to the litigation referenced in item 9 of the agenda.
Just a friendly amendment. I think there's also acting town manager can also, as opposed to just town manager, right?
Your friendly amendment is accepted. Thank you.
Okay.
Just to make sure.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Madam Mayor, next motion is I move that the council authorize the town manager or acting town manager to bind the town to the proposed settlement agreement discussed in executive session with respect to the litigation regarding Town of Rocky Hill et al. Versus Century Hills property owner.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you so much, Counselor.
Thank you.
Moving on to appointments and resignations.
We have none.
None.
And approval of the minutes, A, Town Council meeting March 18th, 2024.
I'll make a motion to approve said minutes from March 18th, 2024.
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Subcommittee reports.
Council Greenspan's out, but I mean, we didn't have a meeting, so I'll just. So finance did not meet. We are scheduled to meet a week from Thursday.
Okay, thank you. Government ops.
Government operations is not scheduled to meet. We are next scheduled on April 15th at 5 p.m.
Thank you. Public safety.
Public safety hasn't met since our last meeting 2 weeks ago, and we'll have our next meeting, as said earlier in the meeting tonight, 2 weeks from now, which is April 15th, Monday, 5:30.
Thank you. Land acquisition and farmland preservation.
A little update on the Rock Hill Community Farm. As we know, Bob Alvarado is supervising the site. He's been working very well with the contractors with the grading. The contractor hired an arborist to look over the trees with the grading issue. They're going to make a determination in the near future what trees can be saved and which ones are not. There has been talks between the town and the contractor about some negotiations because of the improper grading. That's still in progress. And the town barn has not started yet. They're hoping this month, but it will be completed before June 30th, which the grant has to be fulfilled by. That's all.
Thank you. Liaison to the state representative and state senator.
I reached out both to Representative Wood and State Senator Lesser. Did not get anything to report tonight from either.
Okay. School liaison.
No report tonight, but we have Final Four Elite 8 game coming up for the Huskies, so go Huskies.
Capital Improvements Committee.
You didn't say what school.
You know, come on. We are in Connecticut. Come on. I mean, isn't this big enough right here?
That's right.
This one. Hey, that's all I have for the report tonight.
Alan's capital improvements. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Who else is on capital? Are you? I don't think there was a meeting, was there?
I'm not going to give an update. We'll wait for Alan to come talk about CIP. Yeah. Okay. Economic Development Subcommittee.
Also, Alan,
No
but I don't
meeting,
think
no
there's-
report.
I don't think there's any meeting scheduled for them.
No, there was no meeting. Okay, great. Moving on to the consent agenda, we have none. Old business, meet the department, finally. Highway, town garage, and sanitation. Hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
Do you need the screen down?
I think the screen's going to come down.
All right.
There
Did
it
you bring
is.
us any goodies, like the library does?
No, I didn't, sorry, I didn't do any bacon or anything. Sorry.
I don't know if anything from the
You have 20 minutes.
Well, and she's retiring. Yeah, 20.
No, I'm talking to them in the back.
No, all right. So I'm Joe Lentini, Field Operations Highway Superintendent for Sanitation, Fleet, and Highway, which is obviously under Public Works, the umbrella of Public Works. I guess we'll get right into this. So obviously, being under the umbrella of Public Works, some of the things that we do, road maintenance, we work with engineering with stormwater, we work with in keeping culverts clean. Basically, the highway / fleet sanitation does an incredible and outstanding service for not just the public works, but park and rec, facilities, ambulance, BOE, police, and fire. Under that umbrella and that first page, we provide a lot of services for all of them. And I think we do an outstanding job, phenomenal job. So these bullets from down below, again, all three departments support all the services in town, except for fire, except for ambulance. We don't do too much with them whenever they need a sign or something like that. Moving on. So highway, I have 11 crew members. I have a crew leader who is Tom Bogus. I have 3 maintainers, which are 3s. There are my operators. I have Cliff Anderson, Phil Brzalovic, and Fred Weber. Those are my 3 operators. And I have 7 maintainers. There are 2s, Bill Conlon, Dwayne Thomas, Roberto Leone, Rick Wanat, Greg Radican, Chris Elliott, and Brad Fox. So those 11 guys basically take care of all the roads and all the maintenance in and throughout town. Can't see. Sorry. We'll step up here. The work that they provide, obviously all these bullets, we do snow, we do sweeping, we do mowing, we do pothole repair. I mean, there's a million things that we do. We grade the meadows. Again, and we support all the services throughout town, park and rec, facilities, BOE, highway. We're doing a job at BOE. We got a call. I got a call from a park employee last week that the tennis court sidewalk was falling apart from all the rain. Lovely rain that we've been having in March. But right away, we did a call before you dig. We went in, and tomorrow we're paving it. So here we are helping BOE. Their work is second to none. And the trust and respect that I have for them helps me execute all their ideas and strategies, and I get to focus on what we can go and do right. And this is one of the projects. And they do a phenomenal job. And it's just not highway. It's all 3 departments. It's fleet and it's sanitation. They're all in this. We're all in this together. We're a big team, and we all support each other and accomplish all this work. Again, what they accomplish. So obviously we get rid of the snow so people can get to work, go to school. Try not to have any cancellations. I just have to have everybody trust in us. That's difficult, but we have to also have coordination with the state. We crack seal roads. We have our own crack sealing equipment, material. So we're different than other towns where they have to sub that stuff out. Probably in a couple weeks, as soon as this weather gets a little bit better, we'll be out sealing all these driveways and roads that need repairing. Again, culverts, we pave. We're going to be paving tomorrow. Tree trimming, and training. I mean, these guys, they're just phenomenal when it comes to, learning and being productive and getting better at what they do. And we provide the training, and they go out. I mean, they're 80 feet in the air trimming trees in a bucket truck, or they're 15 feet in a hole, and they got their confined space and such training, and they just bang out this work that's phenomenal. I just can't say enough about all these crews. There's nothing that they can't accomplish, and the teamwork that they provide to achieve this work and the goals, it's infectious. And in order to have this continued success, I just have to be able to provide them the tools and the equipment, which we'll get to in a minute. We'll move forward here. So fleet maintenance, this crew, they take great pride in their work also. I got 4 guys. One head mechanic is Tony Oresco, and 3 mechanics, Brian Lacalade, Rich Hammond, and Mike Massimino. And their work, I mean, sometimes I kind of feel bad, but it just, they don't get the accolades and the appreciation for everything that they do and the work that they're doing, taking care of this equipment. We do have, not a significant, but we do have some older equipment that definitely needs some 10 and 11 care, and they definitely put it into it. And they, they keep all these departments working and on the road. BOE, Human Services with the buses, the police cars, obviously. That work is, being handled basically by one mechanic with the help and support of the other ones, but they do a tremendous job. I can't say enough about that crew. We have 167 pieces of equipment on the road, not including everything else, another 150 just of regular equipment, chainsaws, weed whackers, you name it, tampers, all this stuff is everything that they do. And fleet maintenance guys, they're like 3 months ahead. So one of the mechanics started working on all our summer equipment a month ago, so that when we get into the season for the summer, we got all the equipment. Everything's got oil changes, PMs. Everything is ready to go. The only thing we don't take care of is fire department equipment and ambulances. But everything else, those guys manage it well. Basically what they do, I started talking about that already. I guess I'm getting ahead of myself. I love talking so much. They're obviously they repair all the equipment throughout the town. They also they help us plow. They have routes. So if a truck breaks down, they're out with us plowing all the roads. They're in an 18-hour event, whatever. And if I get a truck that breaks down and it needs repair, then a mechanic will come back to the garage and maybe 2 to get that truck back on the road. They're essential. It's unbelievable the work that they do. Also, the head mechanic, he definitely works on the scheduling for all parks, getting them ready for their seasons. Plus, he has to do all the admin work, paperwork, keeping track of all the bills for me. So he does a tremendous job with that. As far as the equipment, we did have some. We lost a couple pieces this winter. 25-year-old truck 17, which is a 1999. So in the CIP, that you'll see that I'm requesting, a replacement for that vehicle, unfortunately. I just explained that too, for what all the repairs and everything that they do. Sanitation, so I have 2 full-time employees. Keith Clark and John Holliday. They're the ones that you see out on the streets in the pickup trucks, managing the bulky waste at the curb, plus broken lids, broken barrels, broken wheels. They do a tremendous job keeping those carts, repaired, fixed, and ready for pickup. And plus picking up the stove, couch, whatever might have broke down in your house that you needed a replacement and you call, they take care of that too. They do a tremendous job. And the work at the transfer station with the part-timers, John Lazari, Greg Anderson, and Brian Zalewski. Everybody's working together. They do a tremendous job at the transfer station. The part-timers with Keith and John, they keep it maintained, clean, no nails, you're not getting flat tires. It's neat, organized. They do a phenomenal job. I'm impressed every time I go down there where you see the refrigerators and the air conditioners lined up perfect and the propane. It's just, it's a good thing. And GEP loves that stuff. We also have the food scrap business going on right now. We have a container down there so residents can bring us their food scraps so that we can send those to Quantum Biopower out in Southington for compost and for methane. Again, so they collect, your couch that broke down or your dog chewed, the sanitation guys, or your broken refrigerator, We try to keep it to that. We get a lot, more material sometimes, but we're trying to, they're in a pickup truck, and I try to explain to people, the residents, the service is something broke, you have to replace it, we'll come and get it. Water heater, whatever it may be. But again, that crew is phenomenal too. They do a fantastic job. Plus, they also assist with us in the winter. Once the snow event is ended, Keith and John, they each get in a pickup truck with snow blowers, and I didn't measure the miles or the footage that I have for sidewalks, but it's a significant amount. Picture the sidewalk at Elmridge Park. That's one of the ones they clear, and they do a phenomenal job after the event. So the transfer station recycles. I mentioned a few things, obviously, but you have your electronics, you have your plastics, you have the cardboard, paper. There's also tires, batteries, fluorescent bulbs, everything. And again, they're organized. The trailers are stacked neatly. Sometimes the TV and electronics gets a mess, but that's on the vendor for not being there soon enough for us. And also on a nice Saturday, there's 200, 300 vehicles that show up. I kept track for a few years on how many vehicles showed up on a Saturday, and that place and they got it organized. I mean, you see cars, and they got people. It's perfect what they're doing. They do a great job. The Keith and John do the backyard pickups, and there's about 4,760 bulk pickups throughout the year in town. And again, I mentioned about them repairing, fixing broken lids, broken wheels, maintaining all the carts. They do a wonderful job. Some more volumes from sanitation on the items that we accept there. Again, paint. There's numerous things. Mattresses, a lot of stuff. We do a lot of recycling, which is good. Keep it out of the trash. Additional services provided by all three divisions. We got the brush pickup throughout the year, 3 times a year. We have the leaf collection, which obviously starts in November. I mean, this year went to almost Christmas. Leaves fell late, and we were out there for a significant amount of hours. We got the Christmas tree pickup. We do the shredded event for residents. Touch a truck, food waste, food service, the food scrap, I mean. I don't know. I'm rambling, I think. But no, let me just get into before the goals and who we are. Obviously, I'm the field operations highway superintendent, and you got the town garage and road maintenance and sanitation, head mechanic I mentioned. The one person who is not in here that should be. Oh no, I do. Administrative assistant Lynn Witowski. Now Lynn doesn't get enough credit because you're looking at in a week 85 to 100 calls of people who aren't too friendly, calling because their trash was missed or you didn't pick this up or my wheel's broken, my lid's broken. They're not always the happiest, but she takes those calls and does a tremendous job, and including with the bulky waste. So you get all these calls. What she does is she has a route list. She has a schedule Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. She has a route list, a map of our locations for where we pick up. She gets the phone call, got to go into the maps, get the schedule so that the guys are working in one location on that map. And what she does is sets up so that they're driving east or west, and she sets it up so they're got a continuation and she's saving time and money. Which takes a lot, considering that she's not really, my second hand, which I could use. The backyard pickups. Trying to think what else is part of that with the scheduling as far as everything she's doing. She takes the calls, again, schedules the broken carts, schedules the broken lids, wheels, or replacements. Sometimes they're replacements. But she does a wonderful job emailing the crew, keeping in communication with them, and keeping them guys going in a timely fashion. What else? My goals. Oh, I clicked ahead. Sorry about that. So goals for the department, for me, for us, and all my crew. Obviously, would love to improve the facilities and our equipment. Obviously, the better the new or tools that the crew has, the better job that they'll do. Having 25-year-old equipment. Again, the fleet guys do a great job keeping it on the road, but newer equipment would be greatly appreciated. I guess I'm done. Oh, for myself, obviously, I have all three departments. I work with emergency operations, sustainable Connecticut. If there's a storm, even this weekend we had the high winds. Obviously you get the call, but work directly if there's like a FEMA or anything with Mona, and longitude, latitude, get all the and pictures, and it's a lot of work, but obviously we get it done and we do a pretty good job. Any questions?
I do. First comment, Joe, I just want to say that when people form their impression about how well a town is functioning in general, I think Public Works plays a huge part in that. And I just want to thank and compliment you and your crew for everything you do that I think goes a long way towards people's general sense, what I hear in town, that this is a well-run town. So start off with a compliment.
Thank you.
Now I'm going to ask you a question.
Yeah.
You do so many different things in literally the entirety of the town, all four corners of the town. Just tell us a little bit about how you map out what you're going to do where and when for the next 3 months, the next month, or this week, or today.
So we do map out and schedule. I'll work with engineering. So we have a pavement program, and that's established, and we also coordinate with the vendors. So as far as the pavement and that part of the road construction, that gets laid out February and March, which we've already laid out. We have a program for Outer France, Spino, Autumn, that we're starting that work now for later this summer paving. So we put together our schedules for the road maintenance part in February and March. We work with engineering. We sit down, we map it out. Otherwise, mowing, when you got to mow. We tried to mow early this year, but that didn't work out too well. It looked like a demolition hack job, unfortunately, and we're trying to get out there and do a better job on some of these streets where the mowing wasn't that good. But it was the timing and when I can get the mower this year was in March. So, again, I knew that in February. We knew we were going to start mowing. So we schedule in, end of January. I'm working in February with crew leader Tom Bogus and the engineering guys on the road maintenance program. Everything else falls into when I get a phone call from BOE saying that the sidewalk's falling apart, so I put it on the schedule. I know I have to do the meadows right after the flood. Everything is, I don't know. I mean, I have a schedule. I have work orders too. I have all this stuff. I have a 3-month map. Excuse me. I didn't bring it. I wish I put it up. That map has all the work on it, and then the dates correspond for when we're going to do the work. Okay? So all the work is on there. Pothole repair, the mowing. I'm shooting a blank. I wish I had that piece of paper with me right now, but everything is on there. And I have I work 3 months. So right now, actually, I typically don't do anything in January and February. So I have March, April, May. So those next 3 months are laid out for a majority of the work. And then we get the emergencies that come up, like at BOE, and we fit those in. We fit them in the schedule, we throw them in the work order and start doing the work.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, I'm gonna just second everything Bill said. So congratulations on a great job and being out there, being the face of the town, and everything you do for us and the residents here. And job well done. But let me ask you this: is there anything we can do better in this town when it comes to public works, or are we doing everything perfectly?
I wouldn't say perfectly, but I would say great. Our operation, these guys, we don't waste time, we don't waste minutes. When the work is scheduled and the work order is put to place, these guys are on it, and they go, and it's fun to watch. It's incredible. The team effort, the communication, the coordination with them and amongst themselves too. It's not just, I have obviously some senior guys that are phenomenal and know the business. I mean, I have some of the greatest operators, and I've been doing this since 1988, road building. And I have the best operators. No question. They're phenomenal. I wouldn't, perfect, I don't know. I don't think there's anything perfect. I don't know. That's a tough question. But I know we do it great, for sure. And these guys, they take pride in their work. They do the work as if they're doing it in their front yard. That's the care that they take, It's phenomenal.
I believe you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joe, I agree with Bill and Punkich. Just a couple quick questions, like the scrap that you pick up.
Yeah.
especially the metal, what do we do with that? Do we stockpile that and get recompensated for that?
Yeah, so that's basically through like CROG or the state bid. The metal company that I'm working with right now is Sims out of North Haven, and they got a small branch in Hartford that we can, not go to North Haven, we could drop it off in Hartford. So we put it on the floor for a short time, one day. Like Saturday, all the metal was dropped. Today, it was all loaded in the cans, 20-yard dumpsters, and then delivered to Sims, for which we have a contract. And that contract, they base their rate on New York and Boston, and I'm in the middle.
Okay.
So we get
fair market value, whatever.
we get fair market value. Actually, and actually, with the work that I do with Mona, we're actually doing even more now with refrigerators, air conditioners, dehumidifiers. That metal now is getting also scrapped, and we're getting paid for that too. So that's tremendous for us too. So I don't have to waste time crushing it and loading it. A vendor comes, takes it, and pays us.
More efficiency. And then what's the method for determining eligibility for all those 200 to 300 cars on Saturday morning?
So we have.
We're a pretty generous town with what we allow in our transfer station.
No, everything is allowed is according to DEP.
Yeah.
There's nothing, everything that I'm allowed to take, I take. There's some things that we don't as part of the contract that we have with the company who we're bringing the waste to.
Mm-hmm.
So there are some items, but they ask for driver's licenses.
Yep.
90% of the clientele are the same, they're returners. It's the Sunday, I call them the Saturday coffee crew.
Yeah.
Gotta get out of the house, away from the honey-do list, and come down and have a cup of coffee with my guys.
Yeah. In essence, I wasn't saying we were taking stuff we shouldn't take, but I was saying it's pretty convenient, and I think it's great for the town of Rocky
It
Hill.
is. It's very convenient, and the way we have it laid out for a tiny facility that needs to be upgraded and probably brand new. I would love to see a brand new building, brand new gas pumps, and a brand new transfer station.
So I opened the wrong book right now.
Yeah, that's the other book. I know. We could talk about that another time, but I wanted to make sure I threw it out there while I was on camera.
Yeah, you can thank me later.
I will. I promise I will.
I just want to give a compliment on the snow removal for
Yeah.
the town. I worked in New Britain for 30 years, and driving in New Britain was a nightmare.
Yeah.
And the snowstorm going through Berlin, meh. Get to Rocky Hill, no problem. And I have Trinity Ridge, a hill to go up, never not got up that hill. So you guys
Yeah.
do a great job.
They've been doing a great job for a lot of years, no question. Well, before I got here.
Yeah, and just with respect to the transfer station, I want to compliment you on that because I got acclimated during COVID, I think when most of Rocky Hill did, right? But what I've seen through my the committees that I'm on with DEEP is that you've always been ahead of the curve, right? And what you're doing, what you're accepting, and all of these things now we're starting to see new policies and potential laws coming into place into what towns should be accepting, and obviously according to state statute. But we've been ahead of that, and so congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks for your time.
You're welcome. Have a great night.
Thanks.
All right, and now we're going to get ready for our swag bags from the fire marshal.
Boy, this is the efficient crew today.
Good evening. I'm Rich Renstrom, the fire marshal. This is Frank Kelly, my deputy fire marshal. Thanks for having us here tonight. The last team to go, really appreciate that. So, we're going to start out with our mission statement, which I think is very important for everybody to understand. It's the mission of the Rocky Hill Fire Marshal's Office to prevent and to reduce the incidence of fire by increasing the awareness and knowledge of residents and businesses respecting fire safety, and by ensuring compliance with the Connecticut Fire Safety Code and applicable regulations of the state of Connecticut. This mission will accomplish through fire prevention education, fire investigation, and compliance inspections. We will actively participate with our community, which we do, serve as role models, and strive to effectively and efficiently utilize all resources made available to provide safety and excellence to customer service to the citizens of the town of Rocky Hill, as well as those that visit. So, these are some of the performance measures that we've been dealing with for the last couple of years. Public education events. We do annually fire prevention programs. That's during Fire Prevention Week, and Frank heads that up. We have members from the fire department that come out with apparatus, and we do demonstrations at the schools. Our annual inspections. We took a hit the COVID year and a half, and we're slowly beginning to increase that. Our numbers are way up. Re-inspections, because of the annual inspections, are also up. The investigations are staying pretty consistent in the 30 range, and complaints. So the complaints are kind of are up a little bit because we take all complaints. We get a lot of people that call in, they don't want to give their names. We do have caller ID, so we respect the fact that they don't want to give their names out, but we will investigate everything. If you look here, the fire marshals do, I'm not going to read all this, but our big responsibility is our annual inspection program, the re-inspection program, the plan reviews. We do a lot of, Frank does a lot of the Tier 2 compliance. Every year, anybody that has hazardous materials sends in their compliance. Frank logs them into our Red NMX system and puts them in the pre-plan for the fire department, so that information is out there and available. And we're promulgated by Chapter 541 of the Connecticut General Statute. So everything we do is driven by statute. There's really not anything that we just do to say, hey. The only thing we have been doing is we have this sort of quasi community program where we will go out for the elderly and replace smoke alarms, replace batteries, only in the battery-operated units, because if you read the manufacturer's specifications on the smoke alarms, the battery or the AC/DC units, they require that it's replaced or installed by a licensed electrician. So for liability purposes, we stay away from that. In Connecticut, we have two different codes. We have the 2022 Connecticut State Fire Safety Code, which is based on the 2021 International Fire Code. That's for buildings that were built after January 1st, 2006. And then for buildings that were built prior to January 1st, 2006, we have the 2002 Connecticut State Fire Safety Code, which is based on the 2021 NFPA 1 and NFPA 101. So it's a little confusing. And within those two codes, the Connecticut State Fire Safety Code and the Connecticut State Fire Prevention Code, it references over 125 different NFPA standards and codes. So we're not just dealing with the Connecticut State Fire Safety Code. We're dealing with a plethora of codes and standards, from fire alarm systems, sprinkler systems, National Fuel Gas Code, and everything like that. Let's see. So these are the duties, and these are really the examples of the occupancies that are covered in the International Fire Code and the NFPA 1 Fire Prevention Code. Everything that you see in here basically, we deal with the exception of the penal occupancies, but we do have to inspect the lockup at the police department, on an annual basis. And most of these inspections that we do, all the residential inspections and the assembly inspections are done on an annual basis. The others, the business occupancies and things like that, are done on a 2 and a 3 year. So the state of Connecticut helped us out a little bit because, quite honestly, we're not able to hit the mark on our annual inspections. We have a considerable amount of time that's spent on the multifamily occupancies in town. And that's where, between that and the healthcare, is where we're really focused on getting the inspections done. And I think, we do a pretty good job at that. In addition to the Tier 2, we also maintain the National Fire Incident Reporting System, which the town of Rocky Hill participates because the state of Connecticut requires us. And so depending on how busy the fire department is for runs, we'll either do it on a 2-week or a monthly basis. We go through all the reports, quality check them, and then we used to submit them to the state, but the state, through their infinite wisdom, said, you guys need to check it now with our requirements and then send it right out to the National Fire Academy. So the FEMA gets those, we submit them on a monthly basis, and it's really important that they get that information because anytime the town puts in for a grant, the first thing that FEMA checks is to make sure our level of NFRS compliance, and to date, we're 100% for the year so far. So, and we also have the Burris and the Cisco facilities in town that we're pretty good at getting to those places because anhydrous ammonia, which is used as a refrigerant, is pretty stable in a controlled situation. When it's not in a controlled situation, there's a problem, and I can demonstrate that with this dollar bill. This dollar bill is actually in currency. It's a real dollar bill, if you want to just pass that around. A couple years ago when we were at Cisco, I took that out of my wallet, and they put it in a bath of anhydrous ammonia. And anhydrous ammonia, within seconds, pulled the moisture out of that dollar bill and shrunk it to what you see there. But that is a legitimate piece of currency. Now, that same anhydrous ammonia, when you're exposed to it, gets into your lungs, and within seconds will kill you. So we're pretty good at keeping track of what's going on in those places.
Small tip.
These are just some, not just some, they're additional duties, but you'll see in there, we're responsible for doing all the plan reviews for anything other than a 1 and 2 family home. We enforce the state regulations for space heaters. We inspect all flammable and combustible liquid storage facilities. We inspect at least once a year all the dry cleaning and dry dyeing establishments. In Rocky Hill, that's kind of a dying industry. There's only really one left. The one on the corner here ships everything out now to be cleaned. Administer the manufacturing of hazardous materials notification. That's the Tier 2 compliance that I spoke. That's what Frank takes care of. And then the annual inspection of all storage plants, equipment, cargo tank vehicles. The state of Connecticut just recently changed that regulation, but the town of Rocky Hill adopted it by ordinance because of the old C. White terminal. So if the trailer is registered in Rocky Hill, we inspect that trailer, or any trailer registered in the town of Rocky Hill. So what they did when they found, because we were charging them, they registered everything in Ohio. So we don't have too much of that left. On the MDC side, the hydrant maintenance, we monitor all hydrants, public and private. Every Friday we get a list of out-of-service hydrants, whether it's public or private in Rocky Hill. as of today, there are no out-of-service hydrants in Rocky Hill, but we stay on top of that to make sure that the repairs all get done. We also contracted this year with a company called Brycer. It's a code compliance engine. So they have a list of all the commercial properties in Rocky Hill, and when any required system gets inspected or tested, they report that to Brycer. That information comes back to us. If there's a problem, then they send out a notification under my signature, and we follow it up that way. If you guys ever look at the monthly reports, you'll see on there, what's the compliance, what's the title?
It's the Brycer compliance engine right now.
Yeah, so if you look on our report and you see compliance engine, that's Frank going out to make sure that people are doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing. So this is a letter that we send out prior to an inspection, goes out to the property managers, and this just tells them what date we're going to be there, and it gives a list of all the documentation that we need to make sure that it speeds up our inspection process considerably. Now that we're contracted with Brycer, that helps out a lot. So it cuts down a little bit on our annual inspections, but we also inspect to make sure that all these properties are in compliance with the local ordinances as far as hydrant maintenance, the rapid entry boxes on the buildings and such. And that's all covered under Connecticut General Statute 29291A 2 through 29292-9, and that's all again out of Chapter 541. This is a copy of our outdoor tent inspections, because we're responsible for doing all the outdoor tent inspections, carnivals, fireworks. We look at all of that. And so this is what we'll send out. Now, we were waiving the fees during COVID, but now that's all gone away. So that we collect through the building department. Next is a copy of the State of Connecticut abatement notice. When we go out and perform the inspection and have to write up code violations, it's a 30-day process. This abatement order goes out with the notice of violation, and a copy of this also goes to the housing court prosecutor in New Britain. We try and avoid this, and we try to push voluntary compliance, and 75 to 80% of the time we're hitting that goal. But there are certain cases when we have to do this, and it's a real pain in the neck, but it's something that has to be done. On the plan review side, these are all the guidelines for our plan reviews. So we're looking at, for building permit, it's called the construction document phase of the project. It's supposed to be 100% complete when it comes through here. So generally, we're looking at all the architectural plans, the site and civil plans, structural plans, mechanical, electrical plans for fire alarms, sprinkler systems. The mechanical plans, we're checking dampers and locations of dampers. And then we now require that anytime a set of plans comes in, it has a code review section on it, which makes the plan review process a little bit easier, because then we can go in and check measurements on means of egress and things like that. Hoarding. So if somebody told me 21 years ago when I took this job you would have to deal with hoarding, I would have laughed in their face. Unfortunately, that's not the case, and we deal with it a lot. And so we don't deal with it alone. We deal with it with the building department. Most of the time, somebody from Human Services, Missy Hicks, is there with us. She's very helpful. Planning and zoning, And a lot of times we have to get the Central Connecticut Health District involved. The state of Connecticut also passed several years ago this Directive 10 notification, and we've had to use Directive 10 a lot. And we've used Directive 10s in 1 and 2 family detached single family residence. We've used it a lot of times in multifamily, and we've even used it as an order to vacate 2 business occupancies in town. And you're breaking one of the 5 deadly sins. You have blocked, insufficient, or impeded egress, failure to maintain or shutting off any fire protection or warning system, storage of flammable or explosive material, the use of fireworks or pyrotechnic devices without a permit. And guess what? That happens a lot. And then exceeding the occupancy limit established by the fire marshal's office. And when we go out to do our restaurants and our places of assembly every year, the occupant load gets checked. It's supposed to be posted. We issue posts all the time. Some owners feel the need to take them down, and then they get reposted. So that's sometimes a continuing issue for us. The other part of the job is origin and cause investigations for fires. We do probably about 20 or 30 fire investigations a year. We work a lot with, we work very closely with the Rocky Hill Police Department Detective Division. Right now we have 1 detective that's certified in fire investigation. At one point we had 3, but because of retirements and everything else going on, we're down to 1, but that's okay, we'll take it. And a lot of times, you might see on the news, Rocky Hill has a fire, and you'll see the state fire marshal's van out there, and that's because no other particular reason, but when we call them, we can get 1, 2, 3, 4 guys, an arson, an accelerant canine, and a trailer. So it's just extra sets of eyes, and it's at no particular cost. And we work very well with the FEIU, and hopefully we will continue that relationship. And it's not just origin and cause fires in buildings. That particular fire you see there was a town payloader. And then we had this spectacular gasoline tanker fire up on 91. It's the first time most of us ever witnessed a BLEVE firsthand. That looks pretty spectacular. That's when the fire is, really going. And then this is what we're left with to determine how that fire started. Now, on this particular fire, we had called the state police, the FEI unit, and we also got a detective from the ATF because it was a loaded gasoline tanker. We weren't sure what we were dealing with, but through the investigative process, and we were able to determine that it was a mechanical failure, but we still had the entire team there, which was helpful. This was another car fire from a motor vehicle accident. This was also a car fire on Interstate 91. So I put in here a couple of goals because Ray and Mona asked us to, but more importantly, we have to maintain 90 hours of recertification training every 3 years. This year, my right-hand guy is retiring in June. So we need to replace him because this, 25 years ago, this may have been a one-man job. It's not so anymore because you don't come in the morning and put your feet up and pour yourself a coffee and wonder what the hell you're going to do for the next 8 hours. We're out there doing. And then the other thing is I would like to begin a process to digitize all our old building files because if you ask Joanne, we have building files everywhere. They're downstairs, they're at the firehouse, they're in storage rooms down there. So I would like to get that information and put it into a digitized form so that we can get it into our Red NMX Alpine management software program. And then I'll leave you with this. This is Frank's favorite statement. It's easier to prevent fires than put them out. Oh, and the occupants of those vehicles were still in them. So with that, I'll entertain any questions.
No questions. Thanks for the presentation, Rich.
Okay.
Thank you so much, and thank you for your service and everything that you do.
You're welcome. Have a good evening.
You as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okie dokie. Moving on to new business, we do not have any. We already did executive session, so we are now down to the mayor's report, and I will keep it short. As you know, we had early voting, and I got a little bit of stats for you. We have 13,408 active voters presently in Rocky Hill. Over the, I want to say it was 4 days of early voting, we had 157 people that did vote early. And we also had a total of 100 absentee ballots that were received. And early voting in November will actually be 14 days. And there is some concern that we might not be able to find enough people who are willing to work for those 14 days. So I guess that's what the registrars are working on. The Jane Doe No More was Saturday at the community center. It was a very, very physical 4 hours teaching us how to escape alive from a predator attack. We started out with these jumping jacks and push-ups and all kinds of things that were totally unexpected because we had to get warmed up. But then we learned a lot from survivors, and equally important, we learned tons and tons and tons of self-defense moves, practical moves, how to think and how to respond. And then we had the pleasure of actually being physically attacked by a giant man, all in cushion padding, and we got to beat the heck out of him. So I am so sore. Dana was there. We've both been just incredibly hunched like this. I had our CROG policy board meeting last week. And CROG has so many wonderful, wonderful initiatives, really working on regionalism, which is a big push now coming more so from the state side. And CROG has gotten involved in that regionalism conversation necessarily. But there are some really cool ideas. They actually have a brand new website. If you're interested in that stuff, you can check it out. They are looking to develop a regional organics diversion program, so we'll keep an eye out for that. This week is Food Waste Prevention Week, speaking of which, and it really is all about small changes to our daily habits. And so if you go on to www.foodwastepreventionweek.com, there's all kinds of information out there. There's going to be all types of webinars and games and really cool things to help us become what they are calling food waste heroes. Because according to the experts, preventing food waste is something all of us can do, from reorganizing the fridge to having a leftover night. And it's really all of these small changes that we can begin with in our own households that ultimately lead to a big difference. The Rocky Hill Division of the Middlesex Chamber had a very robust business after dark meeting and a dinner at Carbone's Prime, and we had folks from all around the state actually attend, businesses. I spoke with developers from Trumbull. It was super interesting. So if you are not yet a member of the Rocky Hill Division and you are a business, please consider joining. For Yukon Husky fans, we did have we hosted, Rocky Hill was the host town for the Chamber's annual breakfast with Coach Gino Ariema, and that was super exciting, and he's always a tremendous speaker, takes a boatload of questions, and full of energy and information. We wish him super luck, and the men. Rocky Hill Intergenerational Food Pantry Garden is looking for volunteers to plant and maintain our produce this garden season. You can contact Lori Stanzik. Her office line is 860-258-2718. The planting day will be May 23rd from 3 to 6 p.m. It's a great opportunity, especially for the kiddos who might need community service hours. On the 25th, just last week, I attended the Anti-Semitism Lunch and Learn, which was hosted by the Jewish Federation. It was it was a tremendous program, lots of takeaways there. I have seen some new businesses popping up along Route 3 and New Britain Avenue, including a new restaurant that's coming and a hair salon. And then finally, this Wednesday, I will be welcoming Congressman Larson, who will be here at the Community Center at 3 p.m. to discuss Social Security and Medicare with our seniors. And that's it. And I will turn it over to Interim Town Manager Mona McGee. No, Mona McKim.
That's a combo. Well, I think you'd mentioned a couple of them, and I already referred to the meeting with the police sergeants at the 1800 Silestine. So all I have remaining is we're going to have an Earth Day cleanup on April 24th. It's Weston Sampson working with the Highway Department, and they're going to focus on cleaning the Dividend Pond trails. So it's something to look forward to. And a slight newer update on the community farm. I had Bob update me this morning that they're doing a final walkthrough at the farm either Wednesday or Friday of this week. So they're progressing quite well, and he was able to identify some savings, and they're coming within budget. So we're happy with that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, we're all set.
Motion to adjourn. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, everyone. Good night.